Good morning. Oh, good morning. My name is Brian Baker, and welcome to Music Sunday. This is a service about finding joy in music, even in difficult times. And I was inspired by two readings from our hymnal. The first one is called "From Our Fragmented World," and it begins, "From our fragmented world." From the fragmented world of our everyday lives, we gather together to seek wholeness. In that opening line, the fragmented world of our everyday lives. And then my question of how do we get from there to something like E. Cummings' wonderful poem about, I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees and a blue true dream of sky. And I know that for me, many times, there's so much drawing on my attention that I can't find a focus. There's so much I've been asked to do and so many directions I'm asked to go that I feel like I just wind up hurrying and running around and doing so many things, and I don't really know if that adds up to anything, if I'm really accomplishing anything. And other times I wind up just sort of stuck, repeating familiar patterns, but dull and pointless. And it doesn't matter which one of those I'm in, I need to change that cycle and get to something that feels like it could possibly lead to something like E. Cummings' poem. And sometimes I do that by taking a little walk or meditation, but most often I sit at the piano and do a gratitude prayer and play some music by J.S. Bach. And I begin to feel things sort of settling in and becoming right again. And sometimes I experience joy in things I do. Like last weekend I went to the San Francisco Symphony and they did Beethoven's Ninth, and in the last movement the chorus up in the terrace took off their masks and sang, and it was just amazing and glorious. And that was a moment full of delight and joy. And then just last night I played in a concert of new music, and I played for two wonderful singers, the last part of an opera about Ishi, who was the last of the Yahi tribe. And it was wonderful music and two wonderful singers, and the chance to do this music for a small audience just felt so full of joy and delight. That was a real uplifting experience for me, finding joy through music. And today you're going to hear from a number of singers how they find joy in music. But before we get to the first one, I want to talk just a little bit about the ideas shared by Professor Daniel Chua, talking about joy in music. And he focuses, at least in part of his talk, about St. Augustine. And he said that St. Augustine loved music so much he was afraid he would wind up idolizing it. Augustine talked about the small repetitions in music, the big repetitions like repeating sections or phrases, but also the small repetitions where there's some small bit of repetition that comes again and again. And Chua likens this to the way we might just sometimes run out of words because we're so full of joy that we have a sense of just improvising because the words are gone, or maybe like singing in a shower. And St. Augustine says that the repetition, this joyful repetition, to him means more than words in a sermon. And Chua writes at the end of his article, that to me, this fundamental repetition, that to me is a fundamental articulation of joy. We never give up hope. That's what music promises. And in the first piece you're going to hear today, Something's Comin' by Leonard Bernstein, sung by Rod Lowe, you're going to hear a lot of repetitions, small repetitions that are just so full of joy. Okay, Rod?
as it shows. It may come cannonballing down through the sky, gleaming its eye bright as a rose. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block, on a beach, under a tree. I got a feeling there's a miracle due, gonna come true, coming to me. Could it be? Yes, it could. Something's coming, something good, if I can wait. Something's coming, I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. With a click, with a shock, phone will jingle, door will lock, open the latch. Something's coming, don't know when, but it soon. Catch the moon, one-handed catch. Around the corner, or whistling down the river, come on, deliver to me. Will it be? Yes, it will. Maybe just by holding still, it'll be there. Come on, something, come on in. Don't be shy, meet a guy, pull up a chair. The air is humming, and something great is coming. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach. Maybe tonight, maybe tonight, maybe tonight, maybe tonight.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Berkeley. My name is Deborah Schmidt, and I am today's worship associate. This is a welcoming congregation, and we are always working on how to better welcome and care for one another. If this is your first time here, we are so glad you've come, and whoever you are, we welcome you in the fullness of who you are. As we begin, we want to acknowledge that this church occupies land in Huichin, the unceded territory of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people. We understand that we continue to benefit from the seizure and occupation of this land. We acknowledge and embrace our responsibility to take restorative action. We affirm that this is deeply felt and commit our congregation to be in right relationship with Indigenous communities, aligning in solidarity, supporting Indigenous projects, and caring properly for the land. Please take a moment to prepare yourself and your space for our time together. You might want to bring a candle and a way to light it so that you can join in the chalice lighting in your own home. Now, let us kindle our flames with the words of Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Now, please join us in singing our opening song, number 1000, Morning Has Come.
Morning has come.
And now please join with me in saying our covenant. Love guides this church. The quest for truth and justice is its common purpose. To give thanks, listen deeply, speak with care, honor our differences, and seek and grant forgiveness. These things we covenant with one another.
Happy Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivonu l'hadlik ner shel Hanukkah.
Blessed are you, our God, guardian of the universe, who made us holy through your mitzvot and taught us to kindle the Hanukkah lights.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asha nisim levotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh.
Blessed are you, our God, guardian of the universe, who enlivened us and strengthened us and brought us to this moment in time.
Happy Hanukkah again.
Happy Hanukkah.
I chose a song called June by Roger Quilter, and it gives me joy to sing it. I really appreciate the words. It's got some lovely imagery in it about nature and about the seasons of the year, and one line, shedding lovely light on things forgotten. Beautiful words and a lovely sort of accessible melody. And I love singing with Brian, and he's helped me a lot with my singing, and I do appreciate it. Dark red roses in a honeyed wind is swinging, silk soft hollyhock colored like the moon, larks high overhead lost in light and singing
It's very convenient for someone who teaches preschool music to find joy in singing the same songs every year for decades. The songs, the simple songs with the tonic triad, the themes about seasons and food and holidays, and that's what I do year in and year out. And I still find joy in them, in singing do, re, mi, fa, so, just that brings me joy. So when Brian asked me to think of a song that brought me joy, it was hard. But I thought of this space and this accompaniment, and my mind kept coming back to 20th century, mid-20th century musicals of Rodgers and Hart, Rodgers and Hammerstein, Lerner and Lowe, those melodies that are arpeggiated and soar. And Brian may have pointed out to me that at least one of them probably came from Brahms and Strauss before that. So I chose this Candor and Ebb song before the news about Stephen Sondheim. It was, I believe, Liza Minnelli's first Broadway solo piece, Broadway vehicle, from Flora, the Red Menace. The song's a quiet thing, and it's specific what she's talking about in the show, but the song stands on its own. How have you found joy or happiness in a quiet way, where it crept up on you? Well, you'll see when you hear the song. When it all comes true, just the way you planned, it's funny, but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing when you hold the world in your trembling hand. You'd think you'd hear a choir sing. It's a quiet thing. There are no exploding fireworks. Where's the roaring of the crowds? Maybe it's this strange new atmosphere way up here among the clouds. But I don't hear the drums, and I don't hear the band. The sounds, I'm told, such romance bring. Happiness comes in on tiptoe. Well, what do you know? It's a quiet thing, a very quiet thing.
Oh, Lenny. Lenny the leopard, he hated his spots, and he covered them over with purple blots, and he tied his tail in 100 knots. He painted one ear, one red, one blue, and he dipped his nose in a pot of glue, and everything else bad leopards do. Why did he do that? It's because he didn't like who he was. He was different than the people around him, and he felt like maybe that made him a bad person. So he tried to change his spots and color his ears and do all different things, and he even thinks of himself as a bad leopard. Have you ever felt that way before? I have. I felt like maybe I wasn't a right person. Maybe my differences meant that maybe I was a bad person. And I have these feelings inside like my tummy is doing somersaults, or I feel like everybody's staring at me and nobody could possibly love me. But you know, what makes us very lucky is that we're here in community with people who take a moment to know and love us, who can remind us that even though we might be different from each other, we all have inherent worth and dignity. The reason why I love the song Lenny the Leopard by Irving Fine with verses by Gertrude Norman is that it's about a leopard who doesn't like who they are. And Irving Fine decides that, or shows this in the way he arpeggiates the chords. It's almost like the chords are moving up the piano, twisting and turning, just like Lenny's belly. And the song starts off in C minor, which is a very sad, sad sounding key. And then suddenly, towards the end of the song, it changes to C major. It's a happy sound. Why? Because Lenny's mother says, "Lenny, I still love you. You're my baby and I love you." And that's what we get to do for each other in community. We get to remind each other that we're loved and valued, and that maybe we are different from each other, but those differences make our community stronger and more wonderful. And so that's why this song brings me a lot of joy.
When Brian asked me to sing today, I thought, well, what brings me joy? And I have to say, singing brings me joy. Playing piano brings me a lot of joy as well, and music generally is just delightful. But I have to say, I oftentimes think of where I came from and where the music I love comes from. And it goes like this. One side of my family immigrated to the Midwest, and they were given homestead land in South Dakota. And what connects it to this song is that the song is about the women and men who built this country, people of all backgrounds, some of whom were despised where they came from and came here for an opportunity and to live. They worked hard, and they built the country as we have it today. And in particular, in this case, this song is about working hard, shipping the food and the goods that the country needs and the world needs from the place, the great heartland, down the river, and all the way out to the rest of the country and the world. And that's what this song is about, so I love singing it. But there are a number of them that come from Aaron Copland at this time about the great heartland and about the backbone of the country from an earlier time, which almost seems out of reach now, but we can think about it and try to grasp it in some way. I should say the song is called The Boatman's Dance.
High row the boatman row, floating down the river, yo high yo. High row the boatman row, floating down the river, yo high. The boatmen dance, the boatmen sing, boatmen up to everything. And when the boatman gets on shore, he spends his cash and works for more. Then dance, the boatmen dance, oh dance, the boatmen dance. Oh dance all night till the broad daylight, go home with the gals in the morning. High row the boatmen row, floating down the river. Yo hi yo. I went on board the other day to see what the boatmen had to say. And there I let my passion loose, and they crammed me in the calaboose. Oh dance, the boatmen dance. Oh dance, the boatmen dance. Oh dance all night till the broad daylight. Go home with the gals in the morning. I row the boatmen row, floating down the river, yo hi yo. The boatman is a thrifty man, as none can do as a boatman can. I never seen a pretty girl in my life, but that she was a boatman's wife. Oh dance, the boatman dance, oh dance, the boatman dance. We'll dance all night till the broad daylight, go home with the gals in the morning. High row the boatmen row, floating down the river, yo hi yo. High row the boatmen row, floating down the river, yo hi yo.
So why do I love opera? I love opera because when I sing opera, it is like a full body sing. There's something that just feels so invigorating and beautiful and wonderful about it. And it is hard work. But the thing that is the most joyful about opera is when two voices get to mingle. You hear someone singing different harmonic frequencies than the ones that you're singing, and somehow they just get all swirled in such a happy, happy way through the body. And this particular piece is pretty well known, and even if you don't know it, you probably know it. It was very widely spread by British Airways in the 1980s in a series of commercials. It was their, company anthem. But really, it's from an opera that describes, in this particular scene, one woman who is feeling very upset and a friend who is there to support them. And there's a beautiful river, a beautiful current with beautiful flowers, and thinking about how nature and music and harmonics and frequencies in our world around us can help us feel connected and together. So I'm very happy to be singing the Flower Duet from Loch May, the opera, with Marcel and Brian.
See
from the fragmented world of our everyday lives. Now we enter into a time in this service that we take up our hearts and our spirits. We take time for our cares and concerns for one another. We lift up and hold all the joys and sorrows and cares and concerns and challenges that we each may be facing. During this time, I invite you to share any joys or sorrows or significant milestones of your own in the comments section. And I invite us all to hold all of these cares in the compassionate embrace of community. Let us open our minds and our hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain and for the soft, gentle coming of love. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day. Please join now in singing hymn number 81. Katya, is that right? 83, Winds Be Still.
Our Unitarian Universalist faith draws from many sources, including humanist, Christian, and Jewish teachings, and wisdom from other traditions. But the first source of our faith is our personal experience. Today, as we open to the joy of music, or as music opens us to joy, I will share with you one of the musical delights that has sustained me through this pandemic. I've been teaching kids piano and recorder via Zoom. It's been challenging. I had to ramp up my technical know-how and outfit myself with some equipment. Duets are vexed. Teaching rhythm is the hardest of all because you can't play side by side or guide anyone by tapping or counting out loud. And of course, we always have transmission issues, but the kids are enthusiastic and unstoppable and have taught me all kinds of Zoom tricks like using the whiteboard and annotating scores on the screen. They know how to showcase favorite photos as backgrounds, and they sometimes don elf ears, sparkly heart-shaped sunglasses, or pig noses. They like to personalize their screen names. For New Year's, Felicity became Feliz Año Nuevo. I get intriguing and revealing glimpses of their homes and family life. Molly's enormous Great Pyrenees pup looms over the baby gate between her and the kitchen, occasionally drowning us out with basso profundo woofs. I get to see Nora's brand new Christmas tree, Ronan sitting at his keyboard on a giant stuffed horse while his twin baby brothers scuffle over a train set in the background, and Reenie's newly painted mint green bedroom with pink trim that she painted herself. Reenie is very lucky because her mom is a good piano player and can accompany her for duets. I get to watch them laughing over their mistakes and working out their communication. Molly, a born piano queen, comes to each lesson with her pieces perfectly in hand, and as a result is flying through material. Her favorite pieces are four hands arrangements of Disney songs, which we play with her muted and playing along with me as if I'm a Music -1 recording. Samantha, who was a high school sophomore when the pandemic hit, went through a hellish year and a half, feeling extremely isolated and invisible. But now that she's vaccinated and able to have in-person lessons once more, she's fallen in love with a Lana Del Rey song, and I am witnessing all the pieces coming together for her. Her hands, always beautiful on the keyboard, are adapting to shifts with naturalness and grace, while her reading is at last catching up with her ear. But my favorite Zoom teaching moment of all was logging on for my first lesson of the day and finding Felicity already there, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, recorder in hand. She'd been so eager for her lesson that she just couldn't wait for 4 o'clock. "I've been waiting in your Zoom room for half an hour," she said. And then she played me Hava Nagila in 2 keys, the second of which she had figured out on her own initiative and entirely by ear. My students continually surprise me, they make me laugh, they bring me hope. They are living daily proof of the irrepressible human spirit and of the power of music to bring joy, even in the darkest of times.
What a wonderful world. Why this song? Music is infinite. Music is beauty, even in heartbreak. Music is healing. Music is physical. It does take effort, Megan. takes a lot of effort. The vibrations in your body, they reach up and out, all the way out to the beginning of the universe, those sound waves. We really are one. To quote James Carroll, there are times when we stop. We sit still. We listen, and breezes from a whole other world begin to whisper. That's why this song. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
As we commit together to making this a loving community, we take time to remember that UUCB needs our gifts and support. We invite you now to make an offering. Each week, half our offerings are shared with a Good Neighbor organization who needs our financial support. And we hope you will continue to practice generosity with them during these difficult times. This month, our good neighbor is the Emeryville Citizen Assistance Program, or ECAP, E-C-A-P. The Emeryville Citizens Assistance Program's mission is to provide food, household furnishings, care, and compassion to those in need in Emeryville, California, and the surrounding Bay Area communities. You are invited now to watch this short video prepared by Natalie Campbell.
Hello, my name is Bobby Miller. Hello, my name is
Director. Offerings of any value are received with gratitude. Details on how to give electronically will appear on your screen as our offertory begins. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bobby Miller. I'm the Volunteer Director of the Emeryville Citizens Assistance Program, also known as ECAP. We are a free food bank distributing food to anyone who needs it in Emeryville and the surrounding area. ECAP is an organization providing free food to anyone who needs it. We don't require people to produce identification or anything like that. We figure if the person must need help because they came to see us, and if we have food, we share it. We make boxes to protect our volunteers and the public from our possibly passing on COVID or not passing on COVID. Due to the help of the community, that is the local grocery stores and the Alameda County Food Bank, we're passing out approximately 25 tons of food on a weekly basis. We service approximately 300 families and individuals 6 days a week, 300 each day. So there are a lot of people out there who need help, and our volunteers, we're a 100% volunteer organization. Our volunteers do all of that work because they care and they want to do service to help our community. As we stand here and speak, our location will be demolished in about less than a year, making room for a new development and a high-rise building for previous homeless and low income. Fortunately, in that process, ECAP will be the only commercial establishment on the ground floor of the new building. So we will have a new building, a new operation, and a store indoors where everybody can come. To that end, we have to raise approximately $150,000 to outfit the new building, but it's all worth it, and it's really a worthwhile process and a program to help our community thrive. Thank you very much.
Please join me in dedicating our offering. We dedicate our offerings and ourselves to the mission of this congregation, to create loving community inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service.
I want to mention that all of the singers today are vaccinated and boosted, and we've all taken tests to make sure that we are COVID-free and we are all good that way. On Sunday, next Sunday at 1 o'clock, Katja is going to join with a flute player in Rostam to do a recital. It will usher in your holiday spirit. Exquisite music for flute and keyboards. 1 o'clock next Sunday. And the Winter Warmth for Grip Clothing Drive is continuing right now. As in the past, we will have our annual Winter Warmth for Grip Clothing Drive all through December. You can deposit new underwear and socks or used clothing, blankets, towels into the cardboard bins out in the atrium. The coffee hour, it's been very good to be together today, virtually, as well as those of us who are here in person. There's a lot going on at UUCB, and you can explore the website to find out lots of details about that. And the service isn't quite over. Coffee hour will still be there. We have a couple more songs, and the next one I really hope you can hear. When I was in my early 20s, a friend invited me to an evening of musicals, and I said, I like musicals, so I said, okay. And it was an evening actually of songs by Stephen Sondheim, and he said, I think you'll like it, and it was much more than that. It turned my world upside down. I'd never run across music like that that connected so much with my heart as well as with my head. And so now all the singers are going to come out and sing Our Time by Stephen Sondheim. We lost him this week. He was 91, one of the titans of music in America. And we will, all of us who loved his music, will miss him. This is Our Time.
Something is stirring, shifting ground, it's just begun. Edges are blurring all around, and yesterday is done.
Feel the flow, hear what's happening, hear what's happening. Don't you know we're the movers and we're the shapers, we're the names in tomorrow's papers, up to us man to show. It's our time we live in, worlds to change and worlds to win. Our turn coming through, me and you, pal, me and you. Feel how it quivers on the brink. Everything gives you the shivers, makes you think there's so much stuff to sing.
And you and me will be singing it like birds, me with music and you the words. Tell them things you don't know. Up to us, pal, to show 'em.
Our time, breathing in, worlds to change and worlds to win. Our turn, we're what's new. Me and you, pal, me and you. Feel the flow, hear what's happening, we're what's happening. Long ago, all we had was that funny feeling, saying something we said not really. Now it looks like we can. Something just began. It's our hands on the block. Give us room and start the clock. Our time coming through. Me and you, pal, me and you. Me and you, me and you. Me and you, me and you.
Amazing Grace has meant a lot of things to a lot of people, and music has always been something amazing to me. It's been a grace that I have been blessed to be able to enjoy so much. Please join in singing Amazing Grace, our closing song.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. 'Twas many dangers, toils, and snares I have already gone. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been met 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known as days to sing God's praise, and when we first
The words of Starhawk. Earth Mother, you who are called by 1,000 names, may we all remember we are cells in your body and dance together. May you all find joy.